Hi there, Doug, back again to talk a little bit more about the power of AI-generated code with Blitzy. In today's video, we're going to take a popular open source library that has an issue that's open, and we're going to look at that issue. It's a bug, and we're going to use Blitzy and its enterprise autonomous AI to resolve that bug. If you've ever worked with DataFrames in Python, you've worked with Pandas. Pandas is the go-to tool for data analysis and data manipulation. But when you're dealing with really large files and you're working with AI and machine learning, you're probably training on a GPU-enabled device with lots of processors. And one of the problems with Python and Panda is it's single-threaded. You can really only run one at a time. There's an open source product called cuDF. It's designed to handle DataFrames on GPU machines, and this one is tuned specifically for NVIDIA processors. Now, that's amazing, right? We all want to handle that data. We want it to be fast, but of course there's a bug, and let's look at that bug. The bug is when you're dealing with an arrow type data set, and it's really large, we end up getting integer overflows and other bad behavior. And clearly, if you're dealing with a lot of data, you want that to be able to be integrated and handled properly without any issues. So what we want to do is we're going to work with Blitzy, and we're going to solve this issue. Blitzy is an autonomous AI code generation. It works before you get into the IDE. It handles those big projects and writes the code. The way it works is through an infinite code context. It reads in the entire code base and creates a technical specification that understands exactly how your application is working. It then creates code based on the prompt you give it. What makes Blitzy so powerful is it allows developers to quickly go back by creating a prompt and solving these bugs, pulling things out of the backlog and solving them without allocating huge amounts of developer resources. So let's jump in and see how Blitzy can solve our problem with cuDF. The first thing we're going to do in the Blitzy platform is create a project, and we're going to import that source code from GitHub. When that code is ingested, Blitzy creates a detailed technical specification discussing how the application works. And as a developer, you can look at this and make sure that it's completely accurate, because of course, the more accurate this is, the better Blitzy will do at fixing your bugs and generating your code. Now that we have the tech spec, we can start building the prompt and asking Blitzy to fix the bug. We come over here to build, and we want to click fix bugs. Now we need to add a prompt. Here's the prompt, and it walks through the problem statement. What are we experiencing? We're getting integer overflow issues. Where does it happen at these times? What's the expected behavior? How frequently? How can you reproduce it? And we walk through what the issue is. What boundaries should Blitzy be set so it doesn't go any further? What can't be touched? What should be touched? Et cetera, et cetera. We've got a 3-page prompt. We paste that in there, and then we ask Blitzy to update the tech spec. When it updates the tech spec, we get a summary of changes. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to fix it. Here's how we reproduce it. Here's how we diagnose it, and then here's how we're going to fix it. Then we say go for it, and then Blitzy creates a PR for us. After about 7 hours of processing, we got an alert that we had an open PR to look at the data. So here's our PR in GitHub. We can see that it fixed the critical overflow bug in cuDF's from arrow interop. Here was the issue, here was the root cause, here are the changes we made, and here's how we validated it. And then here are the tests showing that it's fixed. There were 6 commits, so we can look at that. The technical specs, here's the status, and then here are the fixes. There were 6 files changed. If you've watched these videos, you know that I like looking at that project guide. And so it's saying, here's the summary. It's 95% complete. There's 5% remaining work. It is production ready. There are no critical issues. So what this did is it fixed this critical bug, and the overflow bug is resolved. There's test coverage. It's backward compatible, and all changes are committed and documented. Here's what was implemented, and here's what happened to the build system, and here's how you validate it. We can look at the overflow demonstration. It looks like there might be a little bit of work on this one right here. But here are the Git commits, and it says there's 5 hours of work left to set up your environment, to do the testing, and to do the benchmarks. So here are here as a developer, what do you need to know? You need these things. I don't have an NVIDIA processor to test this, so I can't actually look, but this is how you'd set it up. Here's how you'd build it, and here's how you would run those tests. And then here's the quality assurance, right? Here's what they did. Here's the code review. Here's the security validation and the performance impact. Now, as a developer, in all of the projects I've ever worked on, there were always bugs that we wanted to get fixed. Absolutely. They were on our list of important things to fix, but there was always something more urgent, something broken in production, a new feature coming out, and these always just sat in the backlog. Now, wouldn't it be great if you could take some of these, you could prioritize them, and then slowly, once or twice a week, create a prompt, send it to Blitzy, and then see how close you would get the fix to being resolved. And that way you're slowly clearing out the backlog by looking at those issues and getting them fixed, because the people using your product don't like the bugs either. So by working through your backlog, fixing the bugs, by creating prompts, sending it to Blitzy, and then getting the code that resolves the issue back to you for testing and integration into your tool, it makes your application better. So watch this space as we continue to experiment and work with Blitzy to improve the way enterprise code is being created.